Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair, and welcome to week 2 of
The Summer of Saw!
And as you probably guessed, we'll be looking at the second movie in the Saw franchise, Saw 2. Which, interestingly enough, while greenlit shortly after the success of Saw, wasn't originally a Saw movie at all. The director, Darren Lynn Bousman, had written a script for a story called The Desperate, which they had a hell of a time pitching because execs thought it was too violent to market. Amazing how that changes once you need a sequel to a surprise hit horror movie. But reworking it into a Saw movie did mean they needed to have some rewriting done, and with the help of Lee Whannell, one of the co-writers of the original Saw, they did just that. I think normally in these series reviews, it takes until the 5th movie or so before we get the random horror movies that are just reworked into the franchise. Something about keeping rights or something. Point is, this time around, Jigsaw has some new trials set up. 8 people are trapped in a house full of traps, and one of them is the son of a police officer who has tracked the man down. He is tasked with his own trials, which he better pass, or he may never see his son again. I guess Jigsaw realized, sure, you could break a man's legs and do the whole pit and the pendulum thing, but the real terror is a custody battle. So, we saw Saw, so let's see Saw 2 too. The story opens in a standard Saw fashion. A man, Michael, played by Noam Jenkins, is tied to a chair and has a horrifying head-crushing device chained to him.
If you do not locate the key in time, the mask will close. Think of it like a Venus flytrap.
I guess it would be a bit clunky to call it the reverse bear trap. But where's the key, you ask? Well, it seems that old Jigsaw surgically implanted it behind his eye. Now, while I understand it's very hard to convince your body to injure itself, Michael here does a pretty crap job of even trying, throwing the scalpel away. As one can imagine, that really wasn't the smartest idea. The body count has started. At a smooth 5 minutes in. Gotta love sequels. Now that his ass is worm food, it's time to introduce the real stars of this movie. Officer Eric Matthews, played by Donnie Wahlberg, and his son Daniel, played by Eric Knudsen. We get out some exposition lightning quick, as we see that Daddy-O only has joint custody of his son, but he's having to pick him up for stealing some shit. But that doesn't mean their relationship is a good one.
Just think I should go back to Mom's early. What did you say? What, can you not hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Say it again.
I think I should go back to Mom's
Well, then go!
Fucking kids these days, I swear, no respect for their loud, belligerent, violent elders! Strangely enough, after he tells him to leave, he leaves! More surprisingly, he's actually concerned about him now.
Daniel. Sorry, Sarge. I thought you were my son.
Eric, for the last time, would you cut it with your freaky-deaky role-playing and actually file your damn paperwork? One transition later, and Matthews is on the scene. Meeting up with Carrie, played once more by Dina Meyer, they're investigating that opening scene. Sure, the rusty metal death mask is suspicious and all, but the real truth of who did this is revealed by the jigsaw cut into the flesh.
What are you gonna tell me about that?
Thought you'd want to see it for yourself.
Sure, we want you informed for the investigation, but come on, that's spoiling the best part! But to us, that part is the fact that Michael was one of Eric's informants. Is that relevant to the investigation, though? I'm gonna go ahead and give it a strong maybe. Eric's still not gonna let this bother him for too long, though. You see, he's got ass tons of other cases on his desk, so Jigsaw's gonna have to find another officer to toy with. We also see that evidently he had a fling with Carrie at some point. Probably why things didn't work out with his wife. Well, the point is that night, Eric has an epiphany. The steel trap was in fact stamped with a company logo! How convenient! So the police mobilize, sending in a SWAT team and following the police response playbook to the letter against the guy who's practically a supervillain with a tendency to set up elaborate traps and stay one step ahead of his victims the whole time. What could go wrong? In addition to this, the little cage there in is live and wired. No bother, the trap seems to have only managed to take out 3 of the cops, and the rest storm Jigsaw's lair without much resistance, and Officer Rigg, played by Lyric Bent, prepares to make the arrest.
Down on your knee!
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Now come on, when has that ever stopped a billy club to the back of the head? So here's a nice change of pace. Jigsaw, aka John Kramer, was already revealed in the last movie, so here he's got some actual goddamn screen time. Partially because they can't just arrest and drag his ass off. Funny thing, he was expecting them and has a surprise for Detective Matthews. His son, on video, trapped in another one of Jigsaw's games, along with 7 other assholes.
What is he doing on that fucking monitor?
Well, I haven't looked at the monitors for some time, but I would imagine that, he's cowering in a corner with a look on his face.
Not only is he a genius, insane, and gruesome, Jigsaw's witty too. And there's a poisonous gas that's gonna make those in the monitors bleed to death all over the place.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.
And it's either that or I'm gonna have to leave a 1-star review for the so-called nerve gas. Learn the hard way, you just can't trust the chemical weapons you buy off Wish. He says they've got 2 hours until the people on the monitors start dropping like flies, which should be fine. This is only a 90-minute movie after all. There's also a countdown kicking around, but no bother. We suddenly head to TV land, to the poor bastards kicking around in Jigsaw's latest pet project. Here we meet Addison, played by Emmanuel Valguer, Lara, played by Beverly Mitchell, Gus, played by Tony Napo, Jonas, played by Glenn Plummer, Xavier, played by Frankie G, and Abby, played by Timothy Bird. They're all locked in a small room along with an unconscious woman on the floor. Amanda, played by Shaunie Smith. I mean, sure, she won the game in the first movie, but, I mean, come on, does that really mean she appreciates her life? Luckily for everyone else, she realizes right the fuck away what's going on and begins searching for clues, finding loose fucking bricks that hid away the dreaded tape player. Fucking audio logs, I swear. The tape explains that, yeah, the doors will unlock in 3 hours, but poison gas can die in 2, unless they get the antidote. There's a few kicking around, like the one in this here safe, locked with a specific combination.
The numbers are in the back of your mind. The clue to their order can be found over the rainbow.
I was gonna say right here, these morons take way too fucking long to figure out that little riddle. Also, they're all here for a reason. And what is that? X marks the spot, bitches! Game on. One more thing.
Do not attempt to use this key on the door to this room. Fuck this, man.
Yeah, fuck this. That's a good idea.
No, that's not a good idea.
The others got kidnapped by some nutjob who's trying to kill you if you don't follow the rules of his little game. And the first order of business is to do the exact opposite of the rules of his little game. Oh, what's the worst that could happen there? You see, Xavier? Gus's brains have ruined Lara's outfit. I hope you're happy. Amanda explains to everyone the basics. This is Jigsaw, it's what he does. You can live. Heck, I'm living proof. And you gotta follow the rules, stupid. This brings us back into the situation with the police. Rigg figures their best bet is to trace the source of the video feed, but in the meantime, Eric's gonna have to deal with chatting it up with John, threatening him every step of the way.
If I don't see my son again, I swear to God, I'll rip your fucking head off.
I'm a cancer patient. How could you possibly put me in any more pain than I'm already in?
Oh, pepper spray. Oh, that's cute, but have you tried fucking chemotherapy? Johnny Boy wants to talk with Eric alone, which he doesn't like, but the other officers tell him to humor the guy as a means to buy them some time, so they can locate the source of the video feed. Back in said video feed, the door to the little room opens up. This movie's got a bigger budget after all. They can afford the whole damn house. So, still unsure of what to do, the group begins to slip into the hallways in search of clues. Or just random weapons lying around. Unless Jigsaw's got good enough with machines that he can steampunk up a Freddy Fazbear, pretty sure that's only going to be bad for the other players. Especially considering we don't really have that happy little shake hands and cooperate scene. There's like one guy who actually wants to make a plan and work together to find a way out, and everyone else is like, fuck it, let's just wander around aimlessly and see what happens. A few more handy-dandy tools are just hanging around, and they do find the exit easily enough. The only problem is actually managing to exit.
Fuck!
Yeah, man, unless a little window pops up telling you it has no more uses. You hold on to that shit! No progress there, but Eric's playing along with John's request and having a little chat.
I want to play a game. The rules are simple. All you have to do is sit here and talk to me.
Ooh, keep talking and nobody explodes. I know this game. Simple rules, John talks, Eric listens, and eventually he can find Daniel in a safe and secure place. However, despite this quite clear task laid out before him, Eric is immediately frustrated with John and says it's not exactly in the manual to have to chat it up with his son's kidnapper.
What would you have done 5 years ago? How would you have followed the manual then? Would you have broken my jaw with a flashlight?
You seem to know a whole lot about me.
Ah, I see. Detective Matthews is a fan of the old bad cop routine. So Matthews wants answers. But that's not what John wants. He wants a glass of water. Back with the A story, though, Xavier bashes through the exit doors, only to find steel bars on the other side. Considering they've made absolutely no progress so far, Jonas chimes in that he recognizes one of Xavier's tattoos. It's a prison he went to. Much like Jonas, he's already figured out that at least 3 of them had been imprisoned in the past, which is something to work with, but never mind that for now.
The 3 of us doing stretches?
Hey! I found a door over here.
And fuck figuring shit out when there's more aimless wandering to do. Exploring the cellar, the group is shocked by the discovery of a creepy mannequin doll person. However, there is an envelope.
The fuck is an Obi?
Abby. It's my name.
I think we found the root of what fucked you up. Must have had a hell of a rough childhood.
Hello, Bobby.
Oh goddamn, if you're gonna judge me like this, at least get my name right! The tape reveals to the group that Oh Boy here just so happened to be the guy Jigsaw hired to capture all the little victims in the first place. This really doesn't sit well with the group, but don't worry, there's 2 antidotes just waiting in the furnace for Abby and anyone he chooses, because Jigsaw here is just generous like that.
Once you are in hell, only the devil can help you out.
Self-actualization is still an option. I've played God of War. Either way, Lara starts freaking out because she remembers Abby kidnapping her now, and Xavier is nothing if not a meat-headed bully, so he pulls a knife on Abby, demanding that he go into the furnace for the antidotes.
If you're gonna threaten me with a knife, you may as well cut me a little.
And in one line, Abby went from just standing around in the background taking up space to one of the most stone-cold badasses I've seen on film in a while. Well played, Tim. So he's going in for the antidotes, and yes, he will be keeping one for himself. But, well, it's not even really worth setting this up, is it? Who out there doesn't see it coming that once he grabs the second, BAM! The door slams shut and the fire starts. No matter what anyone tries, they just can't seem to open it to save him. And while you might think the little hint that Jigsaw left for him, and the little devil picture there, and the instructions on it to, hey, twist the fucking valve, might be kind of clear what he should do there, just not gonna do it. I mean, body count ain't gonna rise itself. Therefore, the best the group can do is break the glass on the other side, which he can't fit out of, leaving his ass to burn to death. Along with the antidotes, so so much for that. While they continue to waste their time and make no fucking progress, we suddenly jump back to Eric and John. The officer's frustration is reaching new heights, and he's even beginning to question the backstory of the Jigsaw killer itself.
You use cancer as an excuse for what you do.
No. The cancer isn't what started me in my work.
And the movie kind of realizes that, yeah, that's a bit of a flimsy foundation for this kind of thing, so, hey, they didn't really cover his backstory that much in the first movie, so let's retcon some shit in real quick. And yeah, he still got cancer, and that was devastating. But actually, he then decided to kill himself by driving off a cliff. However, while this crash certainly fucked him up really damn bad, he survived, and was driven by his survival instinct to push himself forward like never before.
And I was determined to spend the rest of my days testing the fabric of human nature.
Not like as a daredevil or some shit like that. No, kidnapping people and torturing them still sounds far more reasonable. Either way, Eric's not convinced this conversation is doing a damn thing to help him get any closer to his son, and we take a break from it to slip back into the feed. His son is actually starting to do things other than cower in the corner trying to stay as out of frame as possible for once, and wants to know something kind of important about Amanda.
If you pass this test, then why are you back here?
I wasn't being very good to myself.
It's almost like throwing you in a position that traumatizes you for life might have some lasting effects other than kicking your drug addiction. But she also went back to jail for drug possession. Confused? No bother.
We found a door.
Sorry about that. In these kind of situations, I really just don't know how to bring anything up without making it a jump scare. It doesn't appear locked, but they can't seem to get it open. Amanda says, yeah, probably a trap, but Xavier doesn't care, bursting his way in. He springs the trap, which is a timed lock on the other door. Here we find Xavier's tape letting everyone know, hey, he's a drug dealer, and if he wants to open that door, he's gonna have to find the key in the pit of used syringes. So... Mr. I'm so tough and I'm looking out for myself takes care of this problem by literally making it someone else's problem. Amanda actually does manage to find the key with, but, well, I guess you'd call that no time to spare because, hey, they're too late. It's here that Addison points out because Jigsaw knew Xavier was a drug dealer, he knows a lot about them. And when Lara confesses to having done time as well, Jonas is sure that they are all connected by doing hard time.
What about you? You got juvie written all over you.
No, never been.
All right. Let's talk this out.
No.
Listen, we've got to advance the plot at some... No! I was born a selfish asshole, I've lived a selfish asshole, and I will die a selfish asshole! Xavier's just like, you're all holding me back, as if he was the one in the needle pit and they somehow fucked it up for him. But either way, at this point, there's but 30 minutes left on the countdown, so Carrie has an idea. John must enjoy all this attention as to what he's done. So how about you destroy his work? That'll loosen his tongue.
How do you get your conviction without all this evidence, Eric?
I don't need this shit to convict you.
So go ahead. Destroy it.
I will.
You like that, Jigsaw? Huh? Well, I'm gonna hold my breath, and I'm not gonna stop until you tell me where my son is.
John is not fazed in the slightest, even when the tech team arrives to finally trace the source of the video feed. In fact, he even knows that Eric set up a walkie-talkie so that they could listen in on these private conversations, and uses that to get them to retrieve a fun little file full of faces of all the people who got trapped in the house.
You were the arresting officer in all their cases, and you were the one who planted all the evidence used to obtain their convictions.
Hey, the adulterous asshole and failure of a father is also a crooked cop to boot. Next thing you're gonna tell me is he double parks his SUV while he goes out to buy mild wings to dip in Miracle Whip. Anyway, we've got less than a half-hour movie to go, so no, nobody figured out the riddle despite how easy it is, but through dumb fucking luck, Xavier just so happens to spot the number printed on the back of Gus's neck. Back of your mind. Wow, so hard. Thing is, the poison is really getting to all of them at this point, but no bother. Jonas is here, so the two of them can work together and... Yeah, I probably could have just told him about the numbers on the neck thing. Just saying, the toxin's fucking up your body so bad, maybe a fight to the death is not exactly the best thing to do to it right now. Back with Daniel and the girls, though, they find the X that marks the spot. This way, the group in the house learns exactly who Daniel is, as they already are quite aware of who the fuck Eric is.
He's the guy who put me away. He set me up.
It's kind of unnecessary when you think of it. I mean, every last one of you is a real criminal, yes? I mean, why fucking bother planting the evidence when you've got plenty of real evidence to spare? But we're hitting the 2-hour mark for the group, so Lara just convulses and dies in Amanda's arms, while Addison says fuck it and just leaves Daniel and Amanda on their own. That way, when Xavier shows up and threatens them with a knife, we can get the classic psycho horror chase scene. Sort of. I mean, it's not the only thing going on by a long shot. First, we gotta jump back to the police to see exactly how Eric is taking this.
You motherfucker, where is he?
Eric.
Well, fuck it, may as well go all out. Prometheus would have a hard time making a cop dirtier than this guy. Ooh, that is not supposed to bend that way. While Eric's helping Jigsaw get jiggy with it, we also jump back to the house monitors to see Addison fall for what is likely the stupidest, most fucking obvious trap imaginable. I get she's really out of it thanks to the gas kinda breaking up her insides, but seriously, just jam your hands at the obvious razor holes and then realize you've jammed your hands into razor holes. Xavier does show up as well, but only to catch the number on the back of her neck and then leave her to her fate. I feel kind of bad for Jigsaw. Spent all that time preparing the little antidote syringes for these idiots, and for what? To be beaten within an inch of his life! Which is kind of hard when he's got at best 2 inches left anyway, but Eric gets what he wants. John finally squeals and tells him that he will take him to the house alone. Good enough for him, so Eric takes John down an elevator before anyone else can respond. No bother, the trace is complete and Riggs' team are heading to the source of the video feed. Speaking of said feed, Daniel is back on the first room with Amanda, and there just so happens to be a trap door. That key was for that. Sure was lucky that Jonas happened to pick it up before getting his brain caved in this very room. Heading down to escape Xavier, they find...
My name is... I'm fucking confused. What's your name?
I'm gonna kill your husband now, Miss
He doesn't want us to cut through our chains.
What are you doing?
The first movie! I mean, sort of it. They rebuilt the set for this scene, but canonically, yes, this is the place that the first Saw took place in. And in all that time, they never thought to maybe clean up the fucking foot. Slight problem with the plan of hiding it at dead end. Kinda means they have nowhere to go when Xavier inevitably catches up with them. Amanda does point out that his plan is also kinda stupid because if he kills everyone, how is he supposed to know what number is on his neck? Especially considering these are old video game mirrors without any ray tracing. So he slices off his own skin. And here's hoping he can tell the difference between a 9 and a 6. And no bother, Daniel slices his throat, taking that threat out once and for all. Also, yeah, the SWAT team has been storming the place the whole time, but there's a slight problem on their end.
It's not live.
Carrie, we're in the wrong fucking house!
In case you were wondering where all the trademark Saw flashbacks were, surprise! The whole movie was in fact one big flashback all along! Well, it sure beats the hell of it all being just a dream. Also, John did bring Eric down to the actual house where it all took place. Considering that was at the very least hours ago, though, he doesn't find much there, except an ambush, knocking him out cold, meaning he's not anywhere near Daniel, who we learn was indeed in a safe and secure place all this time. This whole movie was in fact Eric's test, set up by Jigsaw and Amanda, his new protege. All he had to do was not be a corrupt, abusive asshole for once in his life, and he would have seen his son again, but alas, he has failed.
Game over.
I'll fucking kill you!
Made over here trying to act like this is a Rob Zombie movie. Anyway, that was Saw 2. And all of those twists and revelations at the end really did make it feel like it had a pretty good payoff. It's just too bad the majority of the running time wasn't nearly as interesting. Compared to the first, this one didn't go overboard with its twists and flashbacks, but while we do get a nice bit of revelation at the end about what it all meant all along, we kinda miss the slow trickle of new information during the overall course of events like the original. I mean, there are revelations here and there, but slowly learning everyone has been sent to jail at some point is far less interesting, and the fact that most of them seem unwilling to even reveal that information is confusing to say the least. The fact that Daniel is the son of the cop that arrested them all, and they were all convicted over planted evidence, that's a bit more interesting, but it comes so late in the movie, most of them are already dead, and the only effect it has on group dynamics is that the one useless character went off on their own and subsequently died in the next scene. The twist that Amanda was in fact working for Jigsaw all along was interesting, seeing how her experience in Jigsaw's test affected her, much like John's suicide attempt affected him, and the fact that the video feed was in fact not a live broadcast, but instead a scheduled premiere, is cool and believable. The problem is, these big twists do nothing to make the meat of the movie any more creative. By that I mean the individual tests just kind of come and go, and it's pretty obvious that they're going to go badly for the characters. In the meantime, John's time speaking with Eric is entertaining enough, but at its heart it's meant to simply be wasting time to see if Eric snaps, making it also, regrettably, not the most engaging. Overall, Saw 2 is a competent follow-up which takes the concept and mixes it up enough to not just be the same movie again, but while the ending and twists during the climax are intriguing, most of the movie is comparatively slow, coming in at 3 vials of theoretical antidote out of 5. Theoretical because they never actually did manage to get any and find out. For all I know, those things were filled with Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado. And remember, don't jam your arms in obvious razor traps. I thought that was common sense, but evidently not.
He's cowering in a corner with a look on his face.